Hi, everyone. Welcome to the How to Stop the Holiday Weight Worry webinar. I'm Allison, your host for the evening. I'm a certified holistic nutrition counselor and the paleo blogger behind Frisky Lemon. I'm really excited to talk to you tonight about how to enjoy your holidays and enjoy food over the holidays. I'm especially excited to be doing it via YouTube Live, so you can see me talking a little bit. And yeah, that's all. So let's get started. Just going to share my screen here. Okay, here we go. All right, so how to stop the holiday weight worry and find food freedom during the holiday season. So my intention for this call tonight is to give you tools to be mindful about your food choices during the holiday season so that you can continue to work toward your health goals while also enjoying special holiday foods without guilt. So I'm going to show you how you don't have to stop thinking about your health and your food choices during the holidays, but you also don't have to worry about weight in your food choices. The holidays can be just like any other time of year, just more fun because they're delicious seasonal treats to eat and some good times with friends and family. So I'll be giving you 5 steps to help you avoid the weight worry and find food freedom this holiday season. We'll be talking about how worrying about your weight is negatively affecting your health and your happiness. I'll be giving you some tips to enjoy foods that you like gingerbread cookies and eggnog, and not deprive yourself. And I'll be giving you some tips to cope with the stress of unusual eating during the holidays. Unusual eating is my gentle word for binge eating, because I know that a lot of people have a tendency to lean toward that during the holiday season. I just like using that term unusual eating because it's, just out of your regular routine rather than the binge eating. And I'll also be giving you your first steps to start your new healthy life and create that healthy food routine for yourself. So since you're listening to this webinar, there's a good chance that you struggle with food around this time of year. This is supposed to be a really happy time of year when we're focused on family and friends, but because our holiday season is so food-centered, it can also be a really stressful time of year if you have weight loss or healing goals. It could be that these feelings about food, these stressful feelings, that might be what's keeping you from reaching your health and weight loss goals and keeping you from doing the things that you love, from eating the foods that you love, and from ultimately feeling healthy and happy. So tonight, you're going to learn the first steps and the most important steps to start really enjoying food during the holiday season without stress and while still feeling healthy and good about your progress toward your goals, so that you can feel free to eat and enjoy the foods that you love this holiday season and feel free from frustration and the fear of eating. I really want to take the fear out of the equation. So after the call, if you find value in the tips that I give you, there is going to be an opportunity for you to take this training and support a step further. So make sure to stick around to the end to hear about it. So I wanted to start by telling you more about my struggle and my story with the holiday season. So there was a time in my life from my teens to my mid-20s when I was extremely restrictive with my diet. I was very focused on weight loss, and everything I did, the foods I ate, how I exercised, where I went out to dinner, who I hung out with, was very motivated by trying to lose weight. I can remember looking back and thinking that, every single decision I made in my life at that time was around whether this activity would help me lose weight or make me gain weight. I didn't have a clinical eating disorder, but my thoughts around food were very disordered, and I was a disordered eater for sure. At this time in my life, it felt like very few things were under my control. I had just graduated from college. I was working my first full-time job. I had just moved to Boston, and I only had like 2 friends that lived here. So I really tried to control my life by controlling what I ate. And if I ate well and made good, healthy food choices, my life was going well. And if I didn't eat well or chose some unhealthy foods or less healthy foods, then my life was not going well. So having this outlook on food and life was especially stressful during the holidays when I was supposed to be enjoying myself with family and friends. The result of this added stress was making less healthy food choices and more unhealthy food choices and feeling pretty bad about myself. So the stress caused me to make less healthy food choices, which caused me to feel bad about myself. It was kind of this self-sabotage cycle I had going on. And this ultimately taught me to dread the holidays. I dreaded them because of all of the temptation, because of all the foods I felt like I couldn't eat. To me, the holidays were all about food and purely meant to sabotage my weight loss efforts. So I was not a huge fan of this time of year. I was basically afraid of the holidays because to me, they were synonymous with weight gain. So think for a second. Are the holidays a truly happy time for you, or do you dread being confronted by all the holiday treats? For me, enjoying the holiday season came as a result of changing my overall outlook on food and finding balance in my food routine. Feeling comfortable eating the foods I knew made me feel good. And in my case, this is following a loose paleo diet. And also having a place in my diet for foods that I used to be afraid of, things like gingerbread cookies and eggnog. When once these foods were forbidden, I never, ever, ever ate them. And now that they had a place in my diet, I was able to feel less guilt and eventually no guilt about eating them. So, an important part of finding this balance was practicing patience and forgiveness, which I'm going to be talking about in a few minutes, and practicing having a balanced diet during the entire year. So, that's another big part. So, practicing patience and forgiveness and practicing having this balanced diet or lifestyle during the whole year. So, having my own food routine or food framework full of foods that I knew made me feel good and a good balance of the foods that I love but didn't necessarily make me feel as good. And that's why I wanted to give this webinar tonight to really support you to start enjoying your holiday season, to start enjoying holiday food and actually looking forward to this time of year. So tonight, you'll learn the first steps to feel better about food this holiday season so that you can start doing things that you love, start eating more of the foods that you love, and most importantly, so that you can find food freedom. So first, let me talk about food freedom a little. Food freedom to me it's a term that I use a lot in my health coaching. And to me, it means having a healthy, carefree relationship with food, being confident that the food you're eating will make you feel healthier and being comfortable with your food choices. So it's all about enjoying delicious meals that make you feel healthy and a balance of those foods that you know make you feel less healthy. So it's Food freedom is about loving food and always enjoying your eating experience without guilt, no matter what you're eating, and being confident that the foods you're eating are nourishing you and bringing you closer toward your health goals. So, let's talk a little bit about the holidays and weight and food. So, we are a food centered holiday season culture in a weight centered culture. So, food centered holiday in a weight centered culture. So, our society is totally weight focused. Weight loss books top the bestseller list. Weight loss websites are all over the place. Weight loss commercials are all over the radio. Weight loss TV shows are some of the most popular shows on the air. You really can't read a magazine without running into a headline about weight, how to lose 10 pounds in 10 days, or some celebrity's secret to weight loss. It's literally everywhere. As a society, we're very focused on looking a certain way. Thin is the ideal. And, this is starting to change, but we're still focused on looking a certain way, ultimately. No matter what it is that you look like, we're focused on looking a certain way. We have certain ideas as a society of what is beautiful. So on the other hand, our holiday season is totally food focused. There are special dishes for each holiday. Thanksgiving, you have pumpkin pie, stuffing, green bean casserole. Christmas, you have eggnog, gingerbread cookies, fruitcake. Family gatherings center around food. Work outings or holiday parties center around food and drinks. And there's really no way to avoid food during the holiday season. It's become our symbol of family and friendship and joy and in love and enjoyment. So a food-focused holiday season in a weight-focused society is really a recipe for disaster, or at least a lot of stress. These two things really contradict each other. How can you be expected to enjoy food when you're supposed to be watching what you eat so that you can look a certain way? You can't. You really can't. Or, you can't truly enjoy what you're eating because that having that feeling like you're supposed to be watching what you eat will only make you feel guilty when you indulge in your holiday favorites. So worrying about your weight during a time that's supposed to be joyous really breeds negative feelings, and these negative feelings definitely affect how you feel about your body and your life. It's really hard to enjoy yourself when you feel bad about yourself. A food-focused holiday season in a weight-centered culture breeds that feeling of letting everything go over the holiday season and starting over in January. That all or nothing feeling, like, oh, well, I might as well let all of my goals fly out the window and eat my face off and eat all the things that I want and then start over in January. If you've ever done this, you know that making this decision doesn't really free you from that guilt. You still feel bad about eating those foods, and you won't really enjoy them. So vowing to start over in January is like admitting that the whole holiday season is one big mistake, a mistake that you now have to punish yourself for by joining a gym or going on a restrictive diet or doing a juice cleanse. And that's really no way to look at one of the most wonderful times of the year. There's no reason to start over in January. The trick is to make the special holiday foods and all the special treats throughout the year have a place in your regular food routine, to have a balanced food routine throughout the year so that you can have the flexibility and the freedom to eat all the foods that you want and enjoy those foods during the holidays without worrying about your weight. So one of my former clients, a mother of two in her mid-40s and a former Mrs. America, really struggled with eating during the holiday season. She felt like if she allowed herself to enjoy certain foods, she had to make up for them the next day by being extra restrictive with her diet and doing a huge workout to burn off the calories. She was stuck in a cycle of indulge, guilt, restrict, kind of like that conventional diet mentality of binge, guilt, restrict. Ultimately, she wasn't happy. She never really enjoyed the foods she was indulging in. She wanted to enjoy them, but she could never really allow herself to because she felt like she always had to make up for them through punishing exercise, fasting, and restricting herself. So we worked together to implement the steps I'm going to share with you. And now she has a strategy for eating during the holidays, a strategy that really allows her to truly enjoy the food she's eating and not feel like she needs to start over in January. This time of year doesn't stress her out anymore. She actually looks forward to it, and she's found a way to feel more relaxed and in control around holiday gatherings and foods. And that's how I want you to feel. I want you to feel at ease around food, like it's something that comes naturally, something that you really enjoy. So let's talk about some actual steps that you can take to help you enjoy the holiday foods without feeling guilt. So if you have a pen and paper ready, you might want to write these down. So here we go. The 5 steps. I don't know why that last one said 6 steps. Okay, 5 steps to stop the holiday weight worry and find food freedom over the holidays. So the first one is to give yourself permission. The second one is to fill in the gaps with foods that work for you, that support your own bio-individuality. Because, no person is alike. Everyone's different. Everyone has different needs. So eating lots of foods that make you feel really good. Stay active is step 3. Step 4 is be mindful of your food choices and make conscious decisions. And the step 5 is to be patient and forgiving. So let's start with step 1, give yourself permission. Give yourself permission to relax, to break your food rules. Everybody has food rules, certain rules they have around food, whether it's a health-driven rule, a weight-driven rule, a family-driven food rule. So think for a minute about your own food rules. What kinds of restrictions have you placed on yourself around food? Are your food rules driven by your desire to be healthy? Are they health driven? Are they driven by your desire to look a certain way? Um, these food rules may be keeping you stuck, especially if they're keeping you from eating and enjoying the foods you really want to eat. It's important to figure out your food rules and then to give yourself permission to break them all the time, not just during the holiday season. And that is what your balanced food routine is all about. Being able to break your food rules all the time. You are an adult and you could do whatever you want to do. You can eat whatever you want to eat. Listen to your body and trust that it will tell you what it wants. It really will. And I know for a lot of people, they get scared or they retract when you tell them to eat whatever they want because they say, well, if you let me eat whatever I want, I'm just going to be eating Reese's peanut butter cups for the rest of my life. And you might eat Reese's peanut butter cups for the first 15 minutes and then you're going to really be wanting some vegetables. So it's really all about eating whatever you want and listening to your body, listening to what it's telling you. So your first task is to take some time to think about what rules and restrictions you place around on yourself and food. Writing them down can be really helpful. So think about the foods you consider to be healthy foods or good foods, and what foods you consider to be unhealthy foods or bad foods, and why do you categorize these foods this way? And think especially about why you feel like certain foods are bad foods. I am a firm believer that there are no good foods or bad foods. They're just foods. Foods that make you feel good and foods that maybe make you not feel so good. They're just food. We make them good or bad by believing certain things about them. So it's important to break down your beliefs around these foods. And from those beliefs, that's how you figure out how to break those food rules. So you want to figure out your beliefs about certain foods and then figure out how to break those rules the beliefs have created. So step 2 is to fill in the gaps with healthy whole foods. The holiday season is not about all or nothing. It's about balance. Eating the food that you know will make you feel good, those healthy whole foods, most of the time, will help you feel more balanced and positive about eating and enjoying the other foods that you want to eat this holiday season. So getting lots of whole foods, vegetables, fruits, proteins, and healthy fats during the holiday season will ultimately set you up for success. And eating healthy whole foods most of the time will make eating cookies easier, both mentally and physically. So I really recommend centering your meals around some high quality protein, vegetables, especially the dark green leafy vegetables, and healthy fats. Because these are the nutrient dense foods that are going to fill you up nutritionally and help you feel your best so that you can feel comfortable indulging in some of your holiday favorites that might not be as nutrient dense. So a good way to make sure you're getting nutrient-dense foods is to think about the meals that you have complete control over. So what I like to do is get out my calendar. I'm definitely a planner and a list maker. So I like to get on my calendar and map out my holiday gatherings and parties and find those meals between that I can really fill with nutrient-dense foods and plan out those meals. One of my tips is to take really work on planning your meals for the day after your holiday parties. So if you have your office party on a Friday night, plan your meals for that Saturday. Plan breakfast, plan lunch, plan dinner. It doesn't need to be a strict plan, but just have something in mind, like some guidelines of what you want to do to get back to your usual healthy eating routine. Because having that plan to go to really can make you feel better about your choices that Friday night of the party, and also more confident that you're going to get back on track the next day because you have this plan. Take some time to pick out your favorite healthy recipes and plan to make them. And also make sure you have snacks, healthy snacks available so that you always have that option to choose something healthy. So think for a minute about what kinds of nutrient-dense meals you enjoy making for yourself and about what your strategy might be to fill in the gaps between the holiday parties with these healthy whole foods. So step 3 is to stay active. Just like planning to have healthy foods in your routine can help you feel like you're in more control over your diet this holiday season, staying active and having a plan to stay active can also help. Work to fit in movement every day, especially the days after those holiday gatherings. So those are the days when you would really plan to have some movement or exercise. But not because you need to make up for what you ate at the party, but because movement can help you feel energized and get back to your usual routine. I really recommend some gentle movement or exercise for the day after. You don't want it to be that punishing 20-minute AMRAP CrossFit workout, because that would get into that mentality of maybe punishing yourself for the food that you ate the previous day. So I usually recommend some gentle movement or exercise. One of my clients is a yoga instructor who teaches a class she calls the slow turkey burn the day after Thanksgiving, which I think is really funny. And it's just a slow, gentle yoga, something to help you gently get back into your usual routine. Walking is another one of my favorite holiday forms of movement. I love taking walks with family. I love walking my dog. This year I'm gonna strap on the baby for a little added workout and take a walk with family after our Christmas Eve dinner. It's a great time to catch up with family you might not see all the time, a great way to give your body a chance to digest. And it's also a chance for you to step away from the food and regroup. Because I know in my family, it's like you eat dinner and then more food comes out and more food comes out and the desserts come out and then the dinner comes out again and it's time to do the whole thing over. So getting out of the house, getting some fresh air, taking a break from all that food can be a really good chance to get your mind reset before you make more decisions around food. So the important thing is to make sure you're thinking of exercise as something that's nurturing, not a punishment for messing up. It's a part of your usual routine. You're just gently continuing on your balanced path towards your goals, not burning off the calories from that peanut butter trifle you ate. You are simply continuing with your usual way of moving or exercising, whether it's getting to a CrossFit or yoga class or making the time to take a hike the next day. So how will you continue to keep up your regular movement or exercise plan during the holiday season? Okay, step 4 is to be mindful of your food choices. When it comes to holiday cookies and eggnog, listening to your body and making conscious decisions is the best way to find a true balance of these foods in your routine. So, a healthy, balanced lifestyle is all about making conscious decisions when it comes to food. Make the conscious decision to have that gingerbread cookie. Then, if you want another one, make another conscious decision to have a second. It's all about putting decisions between you and the foods that you struggle with. Lots of things change when you take the time to stop and really think about that cookie. Just make sure that you're making a conscious choice from a loving, nurturing place and not from a self-defeating negative place. So you're choosing this cookie because you really want it and you want to enjoy it and you love this cookie, not because you are testing your willpower or, looking for, not from like a self-sabotaging place. You have the right to eat whatever you want over the holiday season as long as you make the conscious decision to enjoy the experience. Some cookies over the holiday season will definitely not affect whether or not you reach your health or weight loss goals. Yes, it might take a little bit longer than you expect, but all good permanent changes take longer than you expect. The more attention you pay to your desire to eat certain foods, usually the foods that you have some rules or restrictions around, the less power they have over you. So it's really about creating awareness, paying more attention, and making conscious decisions around these foods. Step 5, be patient and forgiving. This is my broken record step because I literally give this as my step 5 in every webinar that I do and every blog post that I write because it's so important to remember to be patient and forgiving because there's no telling when things are actually going to change for you because everybody's different and you will feel like you're making mistakes. So it's important to be forgiving of yourself. But there really is no such thing as mistakes when it comes to this process. Finding a true balance in your food routine can take time and lots of practice. I will say that I've been working as a nutrition counselor for the past 6 years, and I have been working to heal my relationship with food that entire time. I mean, yes, it's come a long way from where it was when I was focused a lot on weight and weight loss, but I still have moments where I feel guilty for eating certain foods, or I find myself wanting to go on a restrictive diet. And instead of punishing myself for having those thoughts, it's really about figuring out where they're coming from and making adjustments. It just means that something's out of balance. Whenever you feel like you've made a mistake, it really just means that something in your life or something in your diet is out of balance, and you have to try and figure out what you need at that time. Because maybe what you were doing before, what was working before, isn't working now, and it's time to make some adjustments. So the feeling like you made a mistake is really just a cue that it's time to make some adjustments in what you're doing. So this is a process, and the more you follow the steps I've laid out for you, the easier it will become. But that being said, there will be times when you try to listen to your body and make those conscious decisions around the holiday foods, but you still end up eating more than you want to and feeling uncomfortable. And that's totally normal and also totally fine. Because the goal of these steps is really to get you to think more about your self-imposed limitations around certain foods, and to put some conscious decisions between you and the food that you want to eat but usually feel guilty eating. So if you do find yourself feeling out of control at a holiday party, make sure that you're making conscious decisions to eat the foods you're eating, and know that emotional eating is okay as long as you're consciously and mindfully indulging. The important thing is to make a decision, accept it, and then move on. And know that your next second is your next opportunity to get back to your usual healthy eating habits. You don't need to wait until the next day. You don't need to wait until Monday. You can get back to your usual healthy routine right now. There's no such thing as failure in this process. If you do feel like you've overindulged at a holiday party, the most important thing is to accept it and then to move on, to get right back to your usual eating routine and not try to make up for anything. Because trying to make up for overeating just perpetuates those negative feelings, puts you in that indulge, guilt, restrict cycle, and then you're in that diet mindset all over again. So just accept your overeating as a learning experience, and think about what you can try next time to help you connect better with your body and make more conscious decisions about food. And I personally think that the moving on piece is the most important thing, because there are no mistakes in this process, only learning experiences. So if you start to feel bad or guilty or like you've failed, just take a second to step back and think about what you can do differently next time. Just try and turn that into a positive thought. And that's one of my favorite things to help people do, is to take a tough time and help you see the positive in it. Because I mean, I want you to keep moving forward and growing and changing and learning things about yourself. And if I can help you see the positive in a mistake or something that you're feeling bad about, that can really help. I mean, it's exciting when you realize that you can think about something differently and it's more positive and moving forward. So I just given you my 5 steps for enjoying food during the holidays without guilt. But I know that everyone is different, and I can't possibly give you all the support that you need to feel comfortable with this process in an hour. Because, I mean, I would say that healing your emotional connections to food is harder than healing your emotional connections to food is really hard. And it's harder than just changing your diet. Changing how you think about food is harder than changing your diet. So I know that I really want to be able to help you, because this is a really important time of year for me. I am passionate about helping people feel better about this time of year because I love it, and it's so much fun, and it can be a really great time. There doesn't need to be stress, and you can have ease around your food. So I am offering everyone that's listening to this or watching this this webinar a 45-minute initial session this year as a way to really show my gratitude for you for being a part of this community and for signing up for this webinar, for joining my newsletter, for following on Facebook. And I just want to be able to support you through this time if you feel like you need support. So everyone listening to this will have a chance to sign up for a free 45-minute initial session, and that's 15 minutes longer than the regular initial session that I offer. And I don't usually offer this kind of session, so it's kind of a special thing. So this is a private phone session to help you get clear about the path to feeling good about food this holiday season and stopping that weight worry. So we'll talk about where you are right now, where you want to be, what you're struggling with, and you'll really leave knowing exactly what to do to start feeling better about the holidays and food choices over the holidays. So we'll get you on a personalized path to a balanced diet and a healthy life. So there are a limited number of these sessions available because my time is quite limited these days. And I do spend a lot of time preparing for these because I really want you guys to get the most out of it and give you the support that you really need. So there are a limited number available, so sign up soon. And tonight I'm giving you direct access to my calendar. You can see in the little box under this live broadcast, there is a link. It's a link right to my schedule, so you can click that link and sign up for your session, or you can wait for me to get an email from me. I'll be sending out an email tomorrow to everyone that signed up for the webinar through the mailing list, and you'll get a link and the link to the replay, but you don't need that because you're here right now. Yeah, so sign up for the session. I'd love to chat with you. I'm very passionate about helping people heal their relationship with food. I've done a lot of work with myself and with a lot of work with a lot of other people to help them start feeling better about food, more at ease, to really find that food freedom. And I know this time of year can be a really stressful time of year. And if I can take a little bit of that stress out of this time of year for you, that would be a great thing, I think. So yeah, thank you all so much for joining me. If you have any questions, you can feel free to email me at allison@friskylemon.com. I love getting emails and I love answering emails. So you can also reply to the email I'm going to send you if you're on the mailing list there. And yeah, thanks so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the webinar and I hope to speak with you soon. Have a great night.